Last time, we saw Noah's decline and death of their founder, Mitsuharu Misawa. Today, we'll see their dark age. Noah's roster at the start of 2010 was a shadow of its former self. Top names like Kenta Kobashi, he was past his prime and was injury prone. In fact, he started the year with nerve damage in his right arm that would keep him out of action until July of 2011. The other pillar, Akira Taue, was rapidly aging from all of the office work. And the wrestlers that were to inherit Noah were either failed heavyweight champions and junior heavyweights. The roster, which was changing since the later aughts, continued through the new decade. In the last decade, Noah acquired free agents like Muhammad Yone and Akitoshi Saito, and a blossoming Taiji Ishimori, a junior heavyweight trained by Ultimo Dragon. They would start releasing aging mid-carders from as far back as Noah's first show over the next few years. Some of these releases would be Juni Zamita, Taemin Honda, Masao Inoue, Kentaro Shiga, Tsuyoshi Kikuchi, Kishin Kawabata, Takuma Sano, while others would just retire from injuries like Makoto Hashi and Takeshi Rikio. Noah's roster needed to trim the fat to continue in this decade, but they would still bring in freelancers and even acquire wrestlers from smaller promotions like Michinoku Pro later on. But I can't belabor on the roster any longer. Takashi Sugiura started the decade as the GHC heavyweight champion, and would have his first defense at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 4 show, where he defeated upper mid-carder Hiroki Goto. Sugiura, despite having great matches that would make Misawa proud, was not bringing in the crowds that one would want. Not a single Budokan show in 2010 had a crowd of over 10,000 people, for example. Noah relied on their partnerships this year heavily, featuring matches with AAA in Mexico, hosting a tour in both England and Germany, and even just focusing a lot on Ring of Honor. 2011 would be even worse for Noah. Their finances were so down that they couldn't even host the Budokan by themselves anymore. In March of that year, a massive 9.1 magnitude earthquake, followed by a tsunami, devastated the country. The earthquake was so massive that it moved the main island of Honshu 8 feet east, shifted the planet's axis almost 10 inches, and killed over 19,000 people. Noah would work with New Japan and All Japan to set up a charity super show called All Together. The main event was a major sight to see. The heavyweight champions of each promotion teamed up against their top challengers, followed by a historical photo op. Outside of this event, Noah was still rebuilding. They were picking up foreign talents to mix it up, such as Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste from Australia, and Zack Sabre Jr. from Great Britain. Meanwhile, Noah's top wrestlers such as Sugiura, Shiozaki, Kenta, Marufuji, and Morishima were overshadowed by the last star in Noah, Kenta Kobashi. Kobashi's future didn't look good, because in October, he stepped down from his position as executive vice president. Meanwhile, Jun Akiyama traveled to All Japan and became their Triple Crown heavyweight champion. Another bad year for Noah passed, but 2012 was a massive loss for the company. This was the year New Japan began their renaissance with the debut of the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. But unfortunately for Noah, they would not get one this year. Former alumni Juni Zamita wrote a book about his career and revealed a massive bombshell. General manager of the promotion Ryu Nakata and executive board member Haruka Egan sold tickets to the Yakuza in return that they would promote the shows, as far back as 2003. Both men were demoted from their positions and held no political power anymore, but the damage was already done. The trust in the promotion diminished, and to make things worse, Kenta Kobashi was released for budgetary reasons. The backlash to the release was intense. Jun Akiyama led a group of wrestlers to leave for new pastures in All Japan at the end of the year. The wrestlers that would join Akiyama were Go Shiozaki, Kotaro Suzuki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Atsushi Aoki. Despite Kobashi making an agreement to retire at a Noah event the following year, Akiyama's group made up their mind and left. 2013 would thankfully be a turnaround year. Kenta, the biggest star in Noah at the time, won the GHC heavyweight title. Meanwhile, Kenta Kobashi was setting up his retirement show. The date of the show did get delayed a bit so he could get back into ring shape, but it was set at the Budokan on May 11th. The show almost went to the Tokyo Dome, but was considered too big of a financial risk compared to the guaranteed sellout at the Budokan due to Kobashi's history at the venue. He also chose the participants for his match. His friends Jun Akiyama, Keiji Muto, and Kensuke Sasaki versus his proteges Go Shiozaki, Kenta, Shuichi Taniguchi, who was now known as Maybach Taniguchi, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. The show received significant media coverage, from special edition magazines dedicated to him, all the way to having the event streamed in movie theaters across the country. After 40 minutes, Kobashi hit a moonsault on Kanemaru and received a massive ovation, where he gave a farewell speech and a 10-bell salute to officially end his career. The show not only sold out, but was the largest number of attendance the Budokan ever had. This show was a must-have after the past few bad years. The next day at the Korakuen Hall, Kenta defended the title in a great match against Takashi Sugiura to make up for losing to Kobashi. Kenta would continue to defend the title in worthwhile matches throughout the year, and at the end of the year, Noah's president Akira Taue would have his retirement match too. All Japan's four pillars were no longer wrestling when 2013 ended. Misawa passed away in 2009, Kawada retired in 2010 after losing his passion due to Misawa's death, and now both Kobashi and Taue's retirements in 2013. 2014 was unfortunately a return to the down years, from dropping attendance to low dojo recruits. In fact, they were so low, they went even heavier into acquiring free agents from indie promotions, such as Keno, Daisuke Harada, Atsushi Kotogi, Hajime Ohara, and The Quiet Storm. These acquisitions throughout these years couldn't make up for the biggest loss Noah had. April 30th, Kenta announced that he was not re-signing his contract because he was going to join the WWE. Noah lost its biggest star and looked to be continuing to go downhill. Meanwhile, their competition in New Japan, their renaissance was flourishing. In fact, they got so popular that Ring of Honor cut ties from Noah to partner with New Japan. They needed to swallow their pride and ask for assistance in their financial difficulties, and would call for a partnership with New Japan. Noah started this partnership with a mid-card 8-man tag team match at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 9. Naomichi Marufuji, Shane Haste, and Mikey Nichols teamed up with Toru Yano, a New Japan mid-carder who comes off as the guy that chose Oddjob and GoldenEye, battled the Suzuki-gun stable. The post-match interview featured the stable vowing revenge, and they did. The stable would immediately invade Noah and spread chaos throughout the promotion. Every match that had the stable in it was nearly guaranteed to have interference. Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr. would win the GHC Tag Team titles in February, while the rest of the stable would be victorious at Noah's big show in March at the Ariake Coliseum. Taka Michinoku and El Desperado grabbed the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Taichi grabbed the Junior Heavyweight title, and the leader of the stable himself, Minoru Suzuki, defeated Naomichi Marufuji for the GHC Heavyweight title. While Suzuki-gun would continue to dominate the promotion, Takeshi Morishima announced his retirement due to his doctor's suggestion after a blood test suggested that he could have diabetes from an abnormally high amount of glycated hemoglobin. The starting of the invasion did bring in curious viewers and an increase in attendance, but the booking from Jado, one of New Japan's top bookers, was beginning to turn sour for many Noah fans. The constant interferences, and how a stable of 10 guys one-upping an entire promotion, it was driving fans away. There were even shows where the fans threw garbage in the ring like it was an NWO segment on WCW Monday Nitro, something that you rarely see in Japan. Despite some great defenses from Suzuki against Sugiura and Takayama, fans were tired of the booking. Looking back, it felt like Jado was trying to replicate Riki Choshu's booking of the New Japan vs. UWF feud in 1995 to 1996. The end of the year had a lot going on. Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols announced that their contracts were going to end soon and head off to the WWE also. Takeshi Morishima's retirement ceremony was cancelled, and Go Shiozaki returned after being in All Japan for 2 years. Noah's last show of 2015 would share the same name as their 2005 Tokyo Dome show, Destiny. Every title was on the line with a massive stipulation, where Noah would end if Minoru Suzuki won in the main event. Chaiji Ishimori and the team of Atsushi Kotogi and Daisuke Harada won back the junior heavyweight titles, and in a fantastic bout, Marufuji won back the heavyweight title and saved Noah. Unfortunately, this happy moment would get thrown in the trash quickly. 2016 went downhill fast for Noah. Marufuji lost the belt to Takashi Sugiura, who defected to Suzuki-gun, and another Noah alumni that came back from All Japan, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, joined the stable too. The storyline was reset to the mass groans of anyone still watching at this point. And to make things worse, Gato joined up with Jado and became a top tag team, which comes off as an insult to the roster due to their position in New Japan at the time, being the guys who would get pinned in the multi-man tag team matches. One positive at least came in the summer, where Marufuji and Nakajima represented Noah at New Japan's G1 Climax tournament, where both performed well. In fact, Marufuji defeated the IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada in the tournament, giving him a title shot. That title shot is a must-see, especially the end with a certain move that Okada uses. Another positive was Katsuhiko Nakajima winning the GHC Heavyweight title from Sugiura. Well, other than that, November came and the partnership went even more downhill. Noah was sold to an IT development company called SB, and former All Japan president Masayuki Yoshida took over as president over Akira Taue. This happened without New Japan's knowledge, and it would see the partnership end at the end of the year. Nakajima would be the heavyweight champion for a promotion that lost fans, looked like chumps in a partnership that was supposed to aid them. And to make things worse symbolically, this would be the last year that they would perform at the Differ Ariake, the arena the promotion debuted in. After these years, Will Noah dive to an abyss and perish, or be reborn from the ashes?